All right, let's get right into it. For what feels like forever, the PvP healer role in Elder Scrolls Online has been pretty much solved, right? We all thought we knew the answer. But what if we were completely wrong? Today, we're going to tear down the whole idea of a PvP healer and rebuild it from the ground up based on what actually works in the game right now. And we're starting with this absolute bombshell of a quote from our source material. The one class that was literally designed to heal is being called the worst choice for PvP. I mean, that sounds crazy, but it's the perfect hook for us to figure out what's really going on. So think about it. If the class that's supposed to be the best at healing is actually failing, then maybe the problem isn't the class. Maybe it's how we're thinking about the job of a healer in the first place. It's time to ditch the old playbook and start fresh. Look, the reality is the battlegrounds in this game have completely changed. The whole meta is different. Fights are faster, they're more chaotic, and everyone is moving all the time. That old school stand-in-one-spot style of healing, it just doesn't cut it anymore. We need a new way of looking at this. Before we can even start to talk about which class is best, we've got to get into the nitty-gritty, the math. What stats actually make your heals bigger and better in PvP? Is it just stacking spell damage? Pumping up your max magicka? Well, let's see what the numbers say.
So this breakdown from our source is super revealing. Right away, you can see there are trade-offs. If you stack the healing done stat, you get the absolute best heals over time. Those are your hots. But if you want that massive, screen-filling, life-saving burst heal, you actually want to go all in on critical chance. Oh, and see max magicka down there at the bottom? Yeah, turns out it's pretty much the worst stat you can focus on for pure healing power.
And this really splits healing into two different schools of thought. Are you the proactive type, keeping everyone topped off with sticky heals that follow them around the map? Or are you more of a reactive player, the firefighter who swoops in with a giant burst heal right when someone's about to die? How you answer that question is going to define your entire build. So what this all boils down to is pretty simple. There is no single best stat for a healer. It's all about what you're trying to do. If your game plan is to smother your team in heals over time, then healing done is your absolute king. But if you live for those epic clutch moments, those fight-winning emergency heals, then crit chance is where you need to put your money. Okay, theory is great, but what does this actually look like in a real build? Let's use a modern Warden healer from the source material as our blueprint. This thing completely ignores the old rules and focuses entirely on being self-sufficient and staying on the move. Now, look at this gear. Notice what's not here. There are no sets that buff your team's damage. This build is, well, it's totally selfish. The Oaken Soul Ring handles all your buffs, so you only need one ability bar. Wretched Vitality gives you basically infinite resources, and Daring Trickery just makes you tougher to kill. The philosophy is simple. A dead healer heals no one. Your first job is to keep yourself alive. And what this creates is a gameplay style that's incredibly smooth. You're not stuck in place trying to manage a dozen different buffs. You just throw out your mobile hots, you keep moving, you hit a big burst heal when you have to, and most importantly, you focus on your positioning and what's happening around you. You're a mobile healing tower that's tough to take down, not a stationary vending machine for buffs. All right, so now that we've built this new model of a mobile, self-sufficient healer, let's go all the way back to that controversial claim from the beginning. Why exactly does the Templar, the classic healer, fall so short of these new standards? Problem number one, and it's a big one, is mobility, or rather the lack of it. The Templar's main abilities, like Extended Ritual, literally force you and your team to stand still in a tiny circle. In PvP, standing still is just asking to be blown up. Now compare that to a sorcerer, who can use Streak to teleport through an entire enemy team, healing allies on the fly while being almost impossible to catch. It's a night and day difference. Next up, survivability. That big, flashy healing ultimate the Templar has, it forces you to stand there and channel it, which means you can't block, you can't move, you're a sitting duck. Meanwhile, a class like the Necromancer has passives that literally make them tankier the more people try to debuff them. They get stronger under pressure, while the Templan just becomes a target. And finally, this might be the nail in the coffin. Team utility. One of the Templar's signature skills is Luminous Shards, right? It gives resources back. But here's the thing. It shares a cooldown with Energy Orb, a skill that any class can get. And that orb gives resources to everyone nearby, not just one person, and it throws in a heal on top. It is just flat out better, which makes the Templar's unique skill kind of pointless in a group. So, if the Templar is out of the running, who steps up? Well, the answer is gonna surprise you. We're going to look at a class that most people think of as just pure damage, the Dragon Knight. As it turns out, the DK's toolkit is almost perfectly suited for the modern PvP support role.
I mean, just look at this list. A Dragon Knight healer brings so much more to the table than just healing. The resource sustain is insane because of their ultimate. They have arguably the best area of effect crowd control in the entire game. They're naturally tanky, and they have offensive tools that actually help your team get kills. They don't just stop your team from losing, they help your team win.
And this right here is the secret sauce, the Battle Roar passive. Every single time a DK uses an ultimate, they get a huge chunk of health, magicka, and stamina back. This completely changes the game for resource management. It's like having a free, superpowered potion ready to go whenever you need it. This comparison says it all, doesn't it? The Templar's circle is defensive and stuck in place. The Dragon Knight Cinderstorm, though, is a weapon. It's a mobile circle of control that not only heals your friends, but also cripples your enemies with a massive 70% slow. It dictates the flow of the fight. At the end of the day, a Dragon Knight isn't just reacting to damage. By using tools like Cinderstorm and their root, Talons, they are actively shaping the battlefield. They're slowing enemies down, locking them in place, and teeing up kills for their teammates. They're playing offense and defense at the same time. So we've torn down the old way of thinking, and we've explored this new, aggressive, mobile philosophy. Let's put it all together. What's the core idea you should take with you when you're building your next PvP healer? It really comes down to these three pillars, these three questions. Number 1, mobility. Can you heal while you're on the run? Number 2, utility. Are you bringing something else to the fight, like crowd control? And number 3, self-sufficiency. Can you take care of yourself? If you can't answer yes to all three of these, your build isn't ready for today's PvP. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. The old way of healing was all about survival, just keeping those health bars from hitting 0. But this new philosophy, it's about winning. It's about controlling the fight and actively helping your team secure victory. So take a hard look at your healer and ask yourself, is it built just to survive, or is it built to win?